Oh, we're not. 29 now. Almost. See if I can keep up to Steve's pace.
I got a dead pen. Watch.
29, almost.
What's my pen dead?
Did you read the minute?
Watch.
No.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty sad.
There's another.
Standard.
So they need to be amended.
Oh, okay.
Yay,
Chris,
good
you can-
steer.
I have mine open for you there.
I'll give you a hard copy.
Okay, so we good to go? You guys, think you're ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Who's online? Randy's online?
Yep, I'm here.
Can we do it? So
Can you hear me?
Can hear you. We can hear you.
Good.
All right. Calling the meeting to order. The second item on the agenda is the approval of our agenda. And the agenda reads that committee approves the agenda as presented. Need a mover? Moved by Councillor Martel, seconded by Councillor Smale. Discussion on the agenda? All in favor? Disclosure of pecuniary interest, conflict of interest and the general nature thereof. Anyone have a declaration? Okay, delegations and presentations. There are none. We're under the minutes. Please note that the minutes had an error. Councillor Ward was listed twice. Councillor Smer was not listed in attendance. Staff will amend the minutes. So the motion reads that Port Management Committee receives and approves the minutes of the Port Management Committee meeting dated December 15th, 2025 as amended. Need a mover? Moved by Councillor Martel, seconded by Councillor Smale. Discussion on the minutes? Okay, all in favor? Business arising from the Port Management Committee meeting minutes, if any. Anyone?
None here.
Randy, anything?
Nothing, thanks.
All right, discussion items, none. So we're on to item 8A, which is grain operations. And I think it says the report's going to be presented by Mike, Mr. Moulton. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The grain operations report for December 2025. The overall inventory of the month was 61,567 metric tons. You can see that the inventory is lower this year compared to the last several years due to different factors. The strong feed market into Quebec pulled a lot of wheat down. Good soybean shipping schedule and low corn volume due to local drought contributed to the low inventory. Summary for the month, we received 17,128 tons grain via truck. We received 26,310 on the corn vessel, received 2,500 tons on rail. We shipped 10,800 tons back out on truck, 62,280 tons out on vessel, and none on rail. So we had a pretty busy December with loading and unloading. Vessels for the month, we did and we can see them, they're listed there. We did 5 vessels. We had no incidents or injuries during that time. And our labor hours were 36.54 compared to the previous year of 32.52. And we maintained our AAA. We got our AAA quality report. And that's it for operations.
Good. Thanks, Mike. Any questions? Moving around. Anyone? Chris?
So with the inventory being so low, is there any plan that because we have customers as well, right? Is there any plan to buy any of it out, or what are you doing about that?
Sorry, can you
Are
repeat that?
we buying any grain at all this year because of the inventory, or
We don't
Nope,
buy
we don't
grain,
buy that, right?
right?
Yeah,
We
yeah,
just
sometimes
provide
we-
the service for the
Yep.
guys that do. But there is movement right now due to the fact that there's low corn in the area that we're receiving. I think we've got 7 or 8 sets of 25 cars booked to come in, plus another possibly a vessel in March.
okay? And then otherwise, just on the safety, it looks like we had a good year as well. So great performance there, obviously. So I have a morning huddle every morning with all my staff as well, and we're at my day job, and we always talk about safety first, and it's good to see that it's paying off. So keep up that good work. For sure.
Well, I mean, we certainly appreciate that, and certainly the hours that the guys work during the harvest season and the late nights and the early mornings. I mean, we appreciate that we're able to maintain that. And it's good work from all the guys.
Yep, good.
Good. Further, Randy, anything?
Nope, just to echo Chris's words on the safety side. Great job, everybody. That's a tough thing to achieve, especially in that kind of environment.
Yeah, well done. Especially watching it in the winter, the wintry kind of condition. It's a little different when it's
Yeah.
those conditions,
Certainly.
trying to do that much work. Mike, one question from me. 7 or 8 sets is what you believe of 25 cars. What is one set of 25 cars volume wise? Is that about 2,503?
2,500 tons.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we could see that times 7,
Yeah.
possibly 8.
Yes, 17,000 tons.
And the reason that's coming in is for
There's no good corn inventory.
Yeah.
And there's some local businesses that consume a lot of corn, and guys want to make sure they're positioned to provide service.
Yep. And so do we store it for them for
We-
any length of time?
We do.
We do.
Yeah.
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 That's great then.
Yeah.
That's
I
fantastic.
mean, they have to bring
Fantastic.
corn in to cover till next harvest.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that ours, there wasn't enough, but it's great for that we're able to bring it in like that too. Yeah. And you think a vessel in March, you said?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And would it be around that same amount of volume again as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Great. All of these reports, we move later on, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're looking at the maintenance report then, I think. And Jeff, we'll turn the floor over to you.
Okay, sort of a cleanup from the end of December, early January. Typical weekly, monthly dust system maintenance. Again, this goes back to December, pre-vessel inspection, maintenance of ship loaders, automatic valves, marine gallery prior to vessel loading. We pulled the dust socks out of sea filter bag house and gave it a good clean down, put the bags back in. Plowing and salting of roads. Somebody can turn the snow off anytime. It wouldn't hurt my guys' feeling. Empty bin maintenance of annex bins 1 and 4. Grain handling equipment checks during vessel loading. Daily inspection of grain receiving pits and conveyors. Investigated reasons for rail scale curtains not containing the dust inside the scale. And we came up with a plan to improve the dust containment in the rail scales. And what the guys actually found was that when the curtains were installed in 1929, 1930, they weren't installed as per the drawings that we actually found and have. And that's the problem. So we have a fix for it. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Don't say we don't investigate. Anyways, annual end of season maintenance of trippers, 5 and 7, and that was included installing urethane liner in the tripper spouts. Inspection maintenance of rail car moving winches in preparation for the rail cars that Mike was speaking of. Electrical department, continue with upgrades to the grain temperature monitoring system, work with the millwrights as required, and that does happen quite frequently. Troubleshoot scale gates, 8 of them scales that we have. We found a problem this year, the last year and a half, that the scale gates weren't functioning as required. They would work. This goes back to a programming issue with LV controls when the scales were updated a few years ago. And what we found was that the programming was never done properly to include the scale position transmitter that we had installed. And it wasn't giving it proper feedback. So the guys went at it. We got a hold of LV controls. The scale gates now function properly. So that was actually a big win. Conducted monthly premise inspection as per GMP requirements. Connect the welder for the millwrights when they needed it, and we replaced the UPS for the office server.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. Questions for Jeff? Clint, Regina, Wadi, Joe, Chris. Wow. You do? Oh, no, I didn't. I said Wadi. I said Wadi.
Thanks. Anyway, through the mayor to Jeff, it's just an inquiry question. When you salt your property, like do we buy salt from Rito Bulk, or do you just they happen to have
We
that?
borrow it.
Thank you. That's what I wanted. I was going to suggest that if you didn't, if you were buying it.
We put it back when we're done.
Randy, anything?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jeff. The financials fourth quarter investment update. Rhonda, I think this one's yours.
Yes, thank you. Our revenue for December was 935,000, which is a decrease from 2024 by 174,000. Although it was better than we anticipated due to the fact our truck traffic was down by roughly 40,000 ton. We did make up some of it with the vessels and the rail, but obviously not enough. And our overall storage being down, our harbor services did have an increase of 66,000 though, due to the salt and some of the grain vessels. Our expenses were 810,000 for December, which is higher than last year by 70,000. But with that, we still did have a successful end of the month with a surplus of 125,000. Our investments, the only real changes, well, the one came due December 30th. The maturity value was 857, 890. So we have the 3 left. The HISA one was down about 0.5% from the third quarter, and the operating account was down about 0.25% from the third quarter. Sorry, other way around. Cash account was down 0.5%, and HISA was down 0.25%.
Yeah.
If you have any other questions?
You don't want to speak to those the overall fourth quarter financials, or did I miss you saying?
Oh, no, I can.
It's a good story.
Sorry. Our actual fourth quarter ended in 2 million. We did have a budget of 3 million, 3.5, and versus last year was 3.5. But our overall year to date, we ended at 2.79, which is better than what we were anticipating early on in the year. So I think it ended up a win for us considering the year.
Yeah, I agree. I'll start over with Clinton Regina again. Anything? Clint?
I'd have one.
Yeah.
To sure. I'm just curious if you can let me know roughly where the expenses are up by 70K, where most of that's at. Rhonda, if you have a breakdown, is it in here?
Pretty much in our labor and benefits.
Okay.
And now December benefits do run higher because of accruing all the year-end carryover of vacation and all that kind of stuff. They always run higher. That's pretty much where our biggest increase year to date would be.
Okay. So the year-to-date labor's up about 1 million, labor benefits up about 1 million, but most of the expense, that's 70K on the 810 is mostly in labor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. It's worthwhile noting that the expenses though do come in about roughly 400K under the yearly budget, even though the expenses were up over last year. We knew that when we did the budget, they're under budget by almost 400,000. If you look between the fourth quarter 2025 and the of the year to date budget and the year to date actual, it's actually returning in 400K under what we gave them for budget.
Point taken.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bonnie, Joe, Chris? Spinning around in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I left it at home because I didn't rush right from work yet, so I don't have it in front of me. So it was.
You can email your questions
Yeah, that's
after,
fair.
Chris. It's okay. They will get you answers. Randy, is there a comment at all?
No, I'm good. Mr. Chair, I'm good. No comment.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to continue to see those, like the HISA's at 2.775, and if interest rates continue to go down, they're going to continue to drop. We're lucky that those two are tied in, I'd say at 5 point, the one at 5.21, because we're getting double what we're going to get after it matures. And we're getting at least at least 1% higher on the 12-month one. So they're great to be locked up for as long as they are at the rates they are, because we certainly are going to see that turnaround unless we put them back into one investment or something different like that. And I assume that you'll sit with Frank and come up with something like that. Yeah. Was that your question?
Well, no, so thank you, Mr. Chair. So my question, so are we expecting to see, I know we had this conversation about, we'll look at the investment portfolio. Is that going to be a February conversation or beyond that, do we think?
Yeah, that is the intent to, I am currently reviewing, and then just based on Frank's absence, I've just paused bringing him into the loop, and yeah, we'll bring that forward in
It's still
February
early.
with some
No, I just
options.
was exactly. So, okay, nope, that's good. Thank you.
I shut myself off. Maybe I should. I think I just want to say, congratulations to staff. I mean, from an agricultural standpoint, I know Clint will tell you it was a really tough year. I think he's got a field that might still even have soybeans on it still. Yeah, part of a farm didn't take them off, right? There was that bad. So, seeing that and knowing what, the service that we provide, and knowing drying is a part of that as well. And, there's a reason that the actual is lower than what the budget was. But I would say at the same time, there's a reason the actual is as high as it is as well. You guys did a fantastic job to service more people, more than you have in a lot of years. We're bringing, product in this year, which is the first time I think somebody told me, but I forget how many years. It's been a long, long time since a ship's actually dropped off, right? Like, yeah, it's been once during my time on council, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good news story too, as well. And I wanted to point out the labor, because, I'm always concerned about the labor. I know we were concerned about the labor in the budget, and I'll always be concerned about that, because it is where your profit gets eaten up, is in your expenses. And in tough years, you need to control your expenses. So while revenues ended up being $1.5 million, down in revenues, you managed to save over 400,000 off of what there was on the expense chart. And I know, looking ahead at next year's as well, there are some other things that are going to fall off that. So I even expect that number to be even lower again next year, and hopefully we'll get back to a normal revenue year. So, in that somewhere, I'm saying well done in a very difficult year, I think, is a measured marker in all the years that I have been here in this group. And maybe Steve was here, he would say the same thing. Like, probably the worst agricultural year we've seen since we've been on council, or the most difficult year, and still the service provided is pretty resilient. It's within margin, and ultimately at the end of the day, there's 2.7 still in surplus beyond the amount that was paid out to the township. So it's work well done. Yeah, it's a good testament. All right, so maybe I just stole your thunder. Maybe I just stole some of your thunder. I apologize. I apologize for that if you had that going in here. But General Manager's report. General Manager, the floor is to you.
Thank you. So we've been working hard since December. I think everyone had a nice little rest over the holiday season. We did remain open for 2 days each week during the holiday season to service our customers, but we came back in January ready to tackle 2026. So we've been focused on operations and safety and developing our 2026 operating budget. We're well underway on our 2026 capital budget. Back in December, you'll recall that we spoke about the RFP closing for the design and engineering for the dock. So that closed in December. Myself, Sean, and Robert did review that, and the lowest bid and the compliant lowest bid did fall under the threshold for council approval. So it's at $75,000. So that design and engineering for the Class 5 estimate for the dock rehabilitation is included in the 2026 operating budget that we will review later this evening. So we're happy with those results and look forward to working with Eastern Engineering Group to get that design completed, so we are shovel ready if some funding comes along. We've been continuing stakeholder and government relations engagement. Thanks to the mayor, we did participate in the provincial pre-budget consultation last week in Brockville. And the submission that I provided is included in the package just for your information. And we are continuing to engage different businesses and local industry on business opportunities. We continue to focus on employee engagement. I did provide a sample of our January newsletter in the package, just so you can see that was part of the harvest debrief that came forward last year, is that employees wanted to be more informed of the day-to-day and what's going on. So I've been doing a monthly newsletter and keeping them just informed of just random facts and information that go on, just so everyone's on the same page. So just looking ahead, we're looking forward to a strong year and hoping for a better harvest season. And we look forward to presenting the annual review and the budget this evening.
Good. Thank you, GM. Chris?
It might be something of, I looked at the bit of it about the port, sorry, the dock upgrades and everything else. And one thing I didn't see there, and maybe it wasn't something that can be done or is appropriate and is done, is there anything we can do as part of that dock update to help with some of the environmental concerns that people have? And I don't know if that's something that was built into there or what, but if is there talking points about that at all that might help to also secure some funding for it as well, or? You know what I mean? With regards to that dock itself that needs to be fixed,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. I don't have them off the top of my head, but I can incorporate that because there's some strat plan implications too that we can include from the environmental perspective for sure.
great.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. And I just thought that might be an opportunity, because we have some issues around the dock itself,
Yep.
right? And so maybe there's something there. So, okay. And no, otherwise, good year, good report. I mean, I think we're all trying to echo the same thing. It looks like we're all looking at the same thing, that there's a lot of work you're doing, and you can tell there's progress being made on just trying to help grow the business and a lot of things you guys are doing. And I just think that the report is just showing that, and it's good that we're doing this, and it's you can see that it's also making the staff proud, and the communication with the staff and everything. It's something that I think a lot of businesses should do better at, to be honest. And so kudos on that as well. So that's it.
Thanks, Councillor Ward. Joe? Waddy?
Thank you, Mayor. To Leslie, I just want to say welcome aboard. You had one tough year to get through, and you did a fantastic job. So pretty proud of you.
Thank you.
Feet wet. Regina, Glenn? Good. Randy?
I'm good, Mr. Chair. I'm good.
All right, so we'll move on to year-end review, pre-audited financial statement.
Sure. Thank you. So it's not my intent to go kind of page by page, but just
Hold on, Leslie, let me read it, and then I'll get a mover and seconder, and then we'll bring it on. My bad there. Motion reads that the Port Management Committee receive and reviewed items 8A, report 8B, maintenance report, C, the financial fourth quarter investment update, D, GM report, and E, should have done this at the very beginning, year-end review, pre-audited financial statements for EBITDA. So mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Smale, seconded by Councillor Ward. Discussion further. All in favor? Okay. Oh, wait. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Take a E out of that. We'll do E by itself. Threw a curveball at myself there. And I got hit with it. All right. The floor is yours. We've moved A to D. We'll move E after. Okay.
Sure. So the annual report, quickly, the total cargo processed, so that's is up almost 35,000 metric ton from 2024, which is a good news story. So quickly on that, I'll just talk. The mayor had reached out. I'm sure many of you had seen through the CBC articles recently about the salt shortage. So by the end of this month, Johnstown, both our dock and the Rideau Bulk site across the street will probably be vacated from all salt. Unlike the shortage that happened in 2019 in consultation with Rideau Bulk, at that time they were able to truck salt directly from the mines, but that is not the case this year. So the shortage is a reality. When the salt is out, it's out. Rideau Bulk and Logistec doesn't own any of the salt, so it's the 3 salt companies that distribute that and are unable to source any more salt. So it is a reality, and Janice from Rideau Bulk indicated that she will keep me abreast of what's going on. I think they're trying right now to maybe source some from Brazil, but there's nothing promised at this time. So hopefully, as Jeff alluded to earlier, that the snow takes a hike. So the total throughput of grain this year was just under 1 million tons. So we're really aiming in 2026 to hit that million metric ton target. Our capital spend in 2025 was 2.01 million. And as Rhonda alluded to, we had a surplus of 2.73 million. We had 53 vessels this year. This number actually does contravene itself later in the report. We did have about 50 vessels, but 3 of those were split between corn and beans and corn and wheat, I believe it was. So a strong year, but again, 2026, hoping for a little bit more. Something when we were compiling this report that was a bit alarming to us is that the project cargo and the break bulk numbers were at 0 from 2025. So we're really looking to our stevedore to help us with those numbers in 2026 and bring some new business across our docks. Where will I go to now? So something new that we did include in the report this year was just kind of the non-financial wins. I know we spoke briefly that the surplus wasn't kind of at the number that we wanted to, and unbeknownst to us, we didn't know that there was going to be a difficult harvest season, but we take this as personally as you do, and we want to aim high and continue to aim high. But I think it's important this year that we also focus on the non-financial wins, and that's like our people, our workforce resilience, the health and safety, the compliance, whether it's through safety, whether it's through Transport Canada or CGC. Those are all excellent targets and something that we're really proud of. And I think at this time too, I just wanted to thank Council. I know last year it was difficult to support that labor and benefit number, but we were able to come in $100,000 under budget. And we really feel, I think I'll echo from all of us, we feel like we're in a much better position from a staffing perspective, from a cross-training perspective, that investment was really worth it. We feel the cross-training efforts, we feel that we're more resilient workforce. So I just wanted to thank you for that. We had some exciting tours this year at the port. We did a lot of work on policy development. We have our policies up to date. We have some new policy. We have our strategic plan. For the first time ever, we had summer students, a co-op student. We now have a Skilled Trades Ontario millwright, and we welcomed V6 agronomy. So I think it was a great year, something that we're proud of, and we're excited for 2026.
All right. Questions on the year end and the pre-audited financial statements? Clint, you're good? Regina? Lynn?
Great job. Great report, really. Yeah, on my side, very clear, very, well presented. And thank you.
Councillor Smale, anything?
I echo Regina's comments.
Joey?
Yeah, I'd just like to, building on what Councillor Smale said last round, that is an amazing year. That's going to be a real tough act to follow.
Chris?
Sorry about that. That cough just into the camera or into the microphone. No, I mean, I know I was probably one of the ones we're talking about with regards to the labor cost and everything else. And I mean, I like to watch the numbers, obviously, but one thing that you can say for sure is, we had a lot of tours, a lot of good tours. We went and we talked to a lot of the staff as well during all these tours. And what you can really tell is there's a sort of a renewal, if you will, on spirit and sort of everybody seems very happy as well at the work, and they seem very proud of the job they do. And I think that's important because, you know, the more that happens, obviously the better job that gets done. And so, you know, I mean, I'll still keep an eye on the numbers, right? But I mean, I think that from a staff perspective, obviously, you know, we probably had some issues with capacity that we were able to handle because of extra resources, and maybe we were understaffed for a while there. Anyway, so just good job all around. And I mean, to I think echo both councillors Smale and Martel that the report really looks good as well. And it's just, you know, there's been a real evidence of a lot of things changing as far as trying to improve and modernize some of our reporting and things like that. So just keep up the good work, and we'll keep going. And you know, with all the initiatives we're working on, hopefully one of those things, something big will tick for us there, and move us to the next level. So
Thanks, Chris. Randy?
No, I guess I'm just going to be repeating what everybody said, but I think it's a great year, Leslie, for you and the team. Tough year. You know, financials are always important, but I think in light of all the headwinds and a drought we haven't seen in quite a while, I think it's an amazing year, and I don't think you should. Glad you brought up the soft items, all the other stuff that took place in people development and policy, putting policies and procedures in place. And let's not forget about the safety. I mean, a year with no incidents, no recordables, that's a huge feat for everybody at the port. So nice job.
That's good. Thank you for those comments. Randy, I would say, again, for myself, certainly the topic of discussion a lot this weekend, whether you know it, at Roma. You know, the Eastern Ontario's Mayor Caucus continues to promote the port as well as Picton Port. They'd only, in the past, they used to just talk about Picton. Now, when they're making their presentations to all of the ministers, with MPP Clark and with the Warden of the United Counties, that's certainly getting a lot of push through there as well. We were told that the Agriculture Minister, Elise Thompson, wants an invite, so she's looking forward to coming down. We just have to extend that invite. And with that said, I would say one of the things that you didn't put in your report, you did talk about that, but how welcoming you all were as a staff when we put requests out to entertain so many visitors. We brought, several ministers, and you guys were like, could be 3-4 days, and you guys were like, yeah, sure, let's do it, and very accommodating and quick to respond to those asks. I mean, I think you all know the value that comes along with having those folks visit and understand the needs that are there. And I think as a result of, you guys doing all of the great work that you've done and being so receptive to it, I think that's going to pay off in dividends pretty quick. So, yeah, so well done to it. And we do have to make sure that we get the Agriculture Minister down as well. And I suppose I should, not to be remiss on that, the CBSA, the meetings with the feds as well, they haven't been quite as plentiful, but I get the impression that we're going to be doing more and more and more of that as time goes on as well. So good work. Yeah. Okay, now I have to move that the Port Management Committee receive and review item E, year-end review, pre-audited financial statements, EBITDA. Correct? Yes, I got it right. Moved by Councillor Martel, seconded by Councillor Smale. Further discussion? All in favor? Okay, operating budget. Item F. And I think I'm going to put the recommendation on the floor. And I mean, if we get to a point where we're actually going to where we're going to vote on it, we'll see how that goes. But I'll get it on the floor so we can talk about it. So the motion reads that the Port Management Committee recommend that Council approves the proposed 2026 operating budget. I need a mover. Moved by Councillor Martel, seconded by Councillor Smale. Okay, the floor is open, GM.
Perfect, thank you. So we tried to keep this budget really high level. As you know, during the harvest season in 2025, when things were feeling a bit tight, we really kind of scaled back and only kind of proceeded with the must-haves. And so there's a few items when you're looking at the lines where you're probably questioning why the 2026 budget number is so much higher than the actual, but that was because we were scaling back with the unknown of how the year end was going to come out. So we're proposing an operating budget, revenues of 10.2 million, expenses at 7.2 million with an estimated $3 million surplus. So the key kind of highlights, the labor and benefits is proposed at 302,000 less than 2025. Outside engineering does see an increase, but that is due to the dock rehabilitation and also asset consulting engineering services for completion of the asset management study and plan, which was approved as part of the strategic plan. Materials and supplies is essentially on par with 2025, just about $1,500 increase. Promotion and sponsorships is proposed at $15,000 less. And office admin based on actuals and our contract with OnServe is up slightly. So there's about 5 one-time purchases in 2026, all directly aligned with the strategic plan timeline that we propose. So replacement of safety equipment and supplies is about 8 to 10,000. Confined space entry monitors is $6,000. Replacement of the weather monitoring station, which is a requirement of our SALT operations plan and our MECP approval, is $7,000. The consulting engineering services is divided into at $200,000 for the dock rehabilitation and the asset management. The administration building PRV valve replacement is at $15,000. And then we're proposing in consultation with the township to piggyback on their new website, a marketing plan and a photo and video library at $20,000. So those are the key one-offs. I think I'll leave it at that right now, unless there's any line-by-line questions. We're happy to entertain.
Just ask or just point one out, probably. I think overall, the labor was down 100,000 on the operating, right, from
right.
last year, and this one is suggesting that we're going to look around 200,000, even lower than what that was.
That's correct.
That's for yeah. Okay, just wanted to, so a little, you're chewing off a little bit even more. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll open it for questions. I'll start with Randy this time. Randy, anything?
No, I don't see anything. I'm glad we're paying attention or keeping an eye on labor. I know benefits are a function, they're a percentage, but I'm glad we're keeping an eye on labor. And I see, Leslie, you've mentioned, made a little note about overtime, dependent on busy being, how much business we have potentially. So that's good. I'm glad she put that note in, kind of cover yourselves that way. But I don't think I have too much. I mean, the big one that sticks out is the consulting engineering, but obviously that's needed and that's going to be in there. I think it's pretty reasonable.
Thanks,
hope we don't have another drought, but it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I may have more. I'm just sort of circulating around the questions I had over the weekend. But so one thing I did notice, so the grain storage, I know we're starting off with such a low inventory right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously the longer we're storing something in there, the more money we'll get over time because it is something that's paid, by term in there. So with us starting off so low, that's the one thing that I see versus the actuals. That's so, it's whatever, 10 or it's more than 10% higher than it was last year. Do we expect something to happen to make that happen, or is that we're just kind of hoping for do we have is there planned things that yes coming in that we know that are contributing to that change, I guess?
I guess for us is we're kind of expecting that corn to come in.
Okay.
Right. That we typically don't see. It could be 70,000 tons of corn come in to cover till next harvest. So
yeah, because business is going to want to be proactive about getting the inventory now, so that
100% right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I echo what you were saying about the wages itself. I mean, I saw the drop in by 200,000 in wages, so we did some hiring to do some things, and that's fine. Obviously, we're adjusting that because of that, so that's good. I also just can't recall, and I didn't see it here, but I also I'm trying to remember where I saw it. But what much is our spend this year on capital projects? Do we no we worked on that already, right?
Yeah.
So I just can't remember the number.
Oops. 2.6.
Yeah, that's fine. In the 2 million range is what I think.
2.6.
2.6. Okay. Okay. No, that's good. I'll come back. I think I have a couple more. I just can't remember what they were. So
Good, thank you. Molly? Gina?
Just a quick question for the, sorry, the port promotion. Is it, I see that the 2025, we didn't use the budget, the of 37K.
Yes.
Is this for the port day in June or 2026? Because I see you added for 2026, the 35K.
Right. So for 2026, it will be the Customer Appreciation Day that we spoke to in the strategic plan.
Okay.
And then the thought was that the following year in 2027, for the first year of the new term of council, we would have a port day
Good.
in 2027.
Thanks.
But this year would be an employee rec, or not an employee.
Customer
a
appreciation, that's right.
appreciation, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Clint?
Thank you. Just a quick one. When I look at the leases and there's only one mention of V6 agronomy, all the leases sort of a blanket cover, you put out 1.5%. With V6 coming on, I would have thought there might have been a bigger pop there for the services provided to them in a lease that's provided by my office.
No, so what's included in the V6 is just in the lease amount is just their $60,000 annual lease. And then any other payments will be aligned through the different revenue stream with the.
Okay, so the V6 agronomy is really negligible from a lease increase. You took up by 1.5, everything's up 1.5%. So the 60K is not in any specific bucket.
The 60K is in the cargo storage leases. So it went up from 346,000 to 404,000.
Okay, so that's the 1.5 base plus the 60.
Plus the 60K,
Okay, I
yes.
didn't look at the total.
Yeah.
The accelerator. Okay,
Yes,
good.
yeah.
No, thank you. I appreciate that explanation. Everything else looks pretty solid. Hopefully we hit all those numbers. Be nice to build the reserve back up again in a year when it was depleted significantly. Okay, thank you.
Everybody's good? Randy, you're good?
Who started?
I thought he started, but I just want to give him a chance to come back if he needs to. He's good. Okay, Chris?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think of the comment I had from when I had looked at this the other day. So it's a good, I think it's a good responsible budget from from what the actuals were and taking a look at some of the things that were changing. So I mean, I think it's a budget that I think it looks good right now as far as I'm concerned. One thing I did think I just heard you say a minute ago though, but maybe I heard it wrong is, and I was going to comment on that is, like advertising and promotions like that. So we're planning to spend roughly what we had planned to spend last year. We didn't spend all of that, obviously.
Right.
But okay, yeah, because I sort of got a little concerned because it's like I know we coming off we had to be a little more careful with our expenses. But I know I mean we're also I like the fact we're a community port. We advertise for things like that. So I was just making sure that wasn't the case. But I think I see now that I heard it wrong probably.
Yeah.
Based on the data. So.
And if I might, we did carry through in 2025 with all the agricultural type advertising and support and the youth sports, but we did kind of rein it in a little bit when we were unsure for the extras.
Okay.
So that's where, within the community, like we would have maybe liked to help the Legion or, some of the other community groups where we just kind of sat tight on those for the time being because we weren't sure how the year end was gonna.
Yeah. Excuse me. I have this, I had a feather pillow this weekend. My allergies are all over the place. So a note to self, make sure I ask the hotel for a better hotel next time. I mean, a better pillow next time. And I appreciate that. I guess all I was saying with that is, we are a community, it's a community port, it's a community owned port. And so, I think based on when you look at the overall budget of there, it's one of these things where it's like, I think we could, we should we can still be responsible for, helping the community and everything else, and knowing that it might, that's not going to make or break us, I guess, is the way advice would be on that. So, yep, that's all. Thanks.
One more other thing, if I might point out, Mr. Mayor, something that we're going to institute on a quarterly basis going forward is historically we always compared year over year, and something we're going to institute in the financial report is just budget to actuals on a quarterly basis. So we have a better idea going forward, not only how we are doing compared to the previous year, but also how we are on budget. So then if we do run into difficulties, we can have those discussions in advance of year end.
Yeah, that makes an absolute ton of sense. That way it can be more responsive. Yeah, during while it's going on. My question revolves around drying. In the budget last year, there's 1.5 million. There's, the actual was 775.5, and then it's 0. So it's under soybean drying, but that is our excess inventory. Is that the idea? There's nothing to roll out this year? So did we?
The last 2 seasons there has been no gain. There's been no drying.
Yep.
Certainly this year. I think probably out of the 2,000 loads of 3,000 loads we took in, whatever it was, I think I could count them on one hand how many we had. Actually, when you don't have wet beans and stuff to dry, you actually lose. You get some invisible loss that makes it really hard to manage the inventory.
So my question then goes to actual inventory for beans. So the number that we see there now is actually what we have. We don't have more than that by 8,000 metric tons or anything like that at all.
No.
That's, give or take a tiny little bit.
No,
That's exactly what we have.
That's right.
Good. No, we've wanted to know what that number is for a long, long time. So
this week we've been kind of cinching up our inventory. Now when the harvest ended and dust kind of settles, we've done a complete inventory of the building and measured everything. And this week we're making the adjustments to make the inventory exact.
okay. No, that's good. I think there's always been a question as to, what the actual full on.
Oh yeah, no, it was kind of scary when I came. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Just on that topic, in case the situation comes again, as part of the strategic plan, we are going to proceed with completing an inventory management policy so that we are not in that, just to be above board, to be open and transparent. So then council knows if we do come into that situation again, we are open and transparent with how we're handling it.
So while we won't see anything sold off for 2020, 2026, the anticipation is that we will build up a little bit of that excess that we've sold off over the last couple of years. Is that the idea?
We will only build it up if we have the opportunity to build it up. Right? If we have another dry season, we may be in a position where we actually have to buy commodity.
And if we don't, there would actually be a number that would appear in there, though, wouldn't there? Yeah.
I think that line item is just basically to sell off. Because we don't really have a dry revenue because it's just shrink.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just inventory plus or minus.
Yeah, your mic. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
so
if it's a dry year, we won't have any. We could, in theory, have to buy some to cover.
Yeah.
If it's a wet year and we actually do some drying, we're going to see a realization of 4%, right?
We don't dry soybean though, right? It's shrunk. So if there's a number that comes in there, it would be because we've
only from the selling.
Right.
Okay. All right. So even if we did realize some, well, we wouldn't realize it. Even if we did see some come in that we caught in shrinkage,
yeah,
then we wouldn't see it until 2027.
Correct.
That's what you're telling me.
That's right.
And we would only see it if we were going to get more in 2027.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. I understand. Well, that's good. Yeah, perfect storm this year. Yeah. For sure. Okay. Anyone else? back in. Yeah.
So I never thought about the shrinkage when we don't have anything. So if people store their grain in our port, obviously, and over time it shrinks because it just happens naturally at this point, right? It's not like we're drying it; it actually just shrank because of the time it was in the port itself. That loss we actually had to pay for essentially.
That's what keeps me up at night.
It's funny. Yeah, I would have thought we would be able to have a calculation of some sort to say, this much shrinkage because of time there, plus that maybe they can't do that. I don't know. That's, we're getting into science now that I don't know if I understand, to be honest. So
There is some built-in shrink if you're drying. But the fact is, like the last 2 years, we haven't really dried anything. So we eat a little bit. They call it the invisible shrink. And that's kind of what you hope you do enough drying to cover that. But unfortunately, we just haven't been there. But hopefully this year will be different.
yeah, okay, thanks, Mike. I know it's a complicated thing, and please sleep. Try to, anyways. Wow.
Yeah, go ahead, Clint.
If I may, I know it's kind of an abstract concept to a lot of folks, and I get that. But what I will say in defense of the position that's on the table is the wetter it comes in, the greater the opportunity for some shrinkage to be compensated or captured. If it comes in dry already, you're going to lose because it's just a function of time and temperature and evaporation. You're going to get a little bit of less moisture in it, which means there's less water in it. So the more water you can put in a soybean and sell it for 13%, that's great. But if you got to sell it at 11%, you've lost 2% of your moisture. Think of it as that. Just a glass of water. How full is it based on the temperature today?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it's super responsible to build it into the budget though. That way there's nothing anticipated for it, right? That's what we're going to actually see for revenue, right? There's no padding that revenue number by realizing the number that's being offset.
By calculating dockage on an inbound shipment, just an arbitrary number, which isn't necessarily there. That's the other factor, right? So your dockage is part of that calculation as well. We won't get into that one, but it's basically the other stuff that comes in with. So if you're fixing an arbitrary number to that, but it's not really there, then you're thinking you're going to end up with more. If you have less dockage or less contamination, you're going to end up with more actual beans sitting there.
Good. Further discussion, further questions, anyone? All right. It's been moved, it's been seconded, correct? All right, so then if there's no more discussion, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Good to go. You have a budget. All right, approval of disbursements well, you don't quite have a budget yet. It has to pass council, but you almost have a budget. Approval of disbursements. There is a motion. The motion reads that the council of the Township of Edwardsburg Cardinal approves the payments of the port invoices circulated and dated as and numbered as follows: withdrawals totaling $307,915.07 for a total of the same. Batch 34 checks, $27,037.48. Batch 35 EFT, $1,767.09. Batch 1 EFT, $155,613.11. Batch 2 checks, $4,645.88 for a total of $189,063.56. For a total of direct withdrawal and batch listings of $496,978.63. I need a mover and I need a seconder. Seconded by Councillor Smale. Discussion on the disbursements at all? Seeing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Good. Inquiries and notice of motion. Does anyone have an inquiry or notice of motion?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the GM. When is the next newsletter due? I'm asking, we are doing this Craft Hockeyville bid. Would be awesome if we get something in there. Taking that even a step further, if you could just move the information to some of your customers, I'm sure you have a giant reach there.
I'm working on that next week, so I'll pull the information. I'll get the information from Wendy and help circulate that. Great idea.
You should call you before you sleep tonight.
Be nice to see the ship watcher group fall into that as well. There's so many people that
Yeah.
utilize the ship watcher group too. Further inquiries and notices of motion. Okay, seeing none, chair's report. I forgot to mention actually that the chair is absent tonight because of a health appointment today. He sends his regrets. You know how much Steve loves being here. I know how much he respects and appreciates the work that gets done on that side of the table. He really does, as difficult and as tough as he fights sometimes. I know that he has nothing but the utmost respect for all of you. So and my fault for not extending his regrets tonight. I will say on behalf of this group, we certainly moved every opportunity we got at Roma this weekend. We certainly spoke about gas line for Enbridge. We certainly took any and every opportunity to promote our port, whether it was with our Minister of Infrastructure delegation. You know, we mentioned it there, and we mentioned it in our Ministry of Energy and Mines as well, with having them across the way at Greenfield. So every single opportunity we get, when we're in front of those ministers, we talk about the port, we hammer away at the port, we tell them what the needs are at the port and how much we want to help protect Ontario jobs and Canadian economic resiliency by doing whatever we can do through that building. So I think that this year is going to be a really good year in a lot of ways, other than what we're already doing business. So I see a lot of good coming through that, and that's it for all that I would have to say, other than I think I said it already, but to all of you, I said on behalf of Steve, but on behalf of all of our group, and I think I'll speak on behalf of the committee and Frank as well, who's not here tonight. To everyone on that side of the table, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to have a budget that makes sense, that is respectful of what we saw in the past year, how difficult it was. It certainly understood. You guys understand what a difficult year it was, and you put a couple of guardrails in there for this year that should be respective of getting ourselves back after a difficult year. So well done for all of that. I certainly respect the work that you guys do as well. And that's it for me. Question period. I know Arya's online. Any questions, Arya? Okay, hearing none then, there is a motion for adjournment, and the motion reads that committee does now adjourn at 7:27. I need a mover. Moved by Councillor Smale, seconded by Councillor Ward. All in favor? We're adjourned. Just remember that for yelling into it, wait till staff shuts off the live stream.